Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first installment of week 99.
Yes.
One more week.
Next week.
One more week. It's the biggin.
That happens next week.
Biggin with extra bacon, double cheese, secret sauce, lots of secret sauce. But we're going to start things off by reviewing Payback, one heck of a pay-per-view type network special thing. That was a lot better than I think most people expected.
Yes.
We pre-showed with 2 matches.
Yeah, we had an extra match.
We thought Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin was going to be on the main card, but guess what? It wasn't. It was on the pre-show.
And I think with the outcome and how the whole thing went, I was kind of okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, I always feel like Dolph Ziggler used to be the guy who got on the pre-show all the time. So it didn't surprise me too much. But at the same time, it kind of made me upset that they didn't move the U.S. title match up to the main card.
Probably could have helped with timing.
Yeah.
We'll get to that when we get to the main card.
Also, there was the United States title match, the one that was supposed to be on the main card, the one we knew was going to be on the pre-show, not the main card.
Dolph Ziggler beat Baron Corbin.
Yeah. It was
a roll-up.
Yeah.
Fruit.
Yeah. I don't like the Ziggler one, but I think if they spin it on Raw, they can save it.
Yeah.
If they spin it like, oh, it's the crafty veteran beating the...
He doesn't like that idea.
Okay, fine. Moving on.
It was a bad idea. Moving on.
Yeah, United States Championship match. Kalisto defending against Ryback. The rematch from WrestleMania. And talk about 10 times more entertaining than the match at WrestleMania.
These two fucking brought it.
Like, I don't know. It makes me wonder, like, what was their mentality going into WrestleMania?
It's just Mania, whatever.
Like, it's just WrestleMania, fuck it. It's fine.
But this is Payback.
Yeah.
We gotta...
Yeah, they had to amp themselves up for Payback, apparently.
Well, I just feel like it was like, okay, WrestleMania, let's go out there, let's do our thing. And then when Payback came around, they're like, fuck, they put us in the pre-show again?
Let's get the hell out
like,
of the pre-show.
I think it's like, you can understand being relegated to the undercard of WrestleMania because matches like Undertaker versus Shane, Triple H versus Roman Reigns,
right.
Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar. Okay, those are all big draw matches. That's okay if Ryback versus Kalisto, which didn't have any build going up into it anyways,
it had like 2 weeks of build,
gets put on the pre-show. That's fine. Now you have one of these other smaller pay-per-views where you think a title match should have a little more chutzpah, if you will. Then it becomes kind of more of like, let's show them we're not supposed to be at this level. Let's show them why they made the mistake by not putting us on the main card. And they did.
Yeah, they did a great job. I mean,
Ryback with the press slam off the ropes.
Yeah,
that was impressive.
Ryback, you know, after the whole Wyatt family thing, like, I gave him a lot of shit because it's like, okay, what the fuck are we gonna do with Ryback? Why is he going after Kalisto? It doesn't fit. It doesn't make sense. I don't like it. But he busted his ass in this match.
Yeah.
And so
saved Kalisto's life.
Yeah, saved Kalisto's life and then killed Kalisto again. Yeah. But no, yeah, I took back a few things. I still don't want Ryback in this spot.
No,
especially with the way he got there.
For Kalisto's sake, Kalisto needs to move on to do other things.
Right.
Because if his title reign is just spent feuding with Ryback, it's going to be very quickly forgotten.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that press slam you were talking about, the military slam off the second rope, Ryback goes back up, goes for the frog splash, misses, and that allows Kalisto to hit Selena Del Sol and retains the U.S. Championship.
Yeah, I like how Ryback missing a frog splash completely healed Kalisto from the...
Yeah, because he got up super fast.
He was like...
I think it was super resilient.
It was the jolt on the mat. He went, whoa, I'm back.
Just the impact from Ryback hitting the mat was enough to lift Kalisto up to land on his feet.
Yeah.
Enough to lift him up into the Selena.
Yeah.
He just hovered in the air for Ryback, waiting for Ryback to get back up.
Yeah.
And
okay,
now go. So, yeah, good match.
That was the please show.
The please show.
Please. It was the please make this a good paper.
It was the match of the pre-show for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Then we had the main card, the one where everyone was waiting for. The one thing that kind of threw me off a little bit is they had the New Day come out
Yeah.
and open the show before the video package to bring the show in. That's kind of a weird thing. I mean, they do it at WrestleMania when they have somebody come in and sing the national anthem or America the Beautiful. Then they do the video show, but they usually don't have the New Day come out and try and amp up the Chicago crowd and then do the Payback video. Strange.
Maybe that was their whole thing. They're like, okay, we didn't really build Payback all that well, and if people are going to tune in, if people are like, pre-show didn't really sell me, but I guess I'll turn it off, and then the New Day come out first, maybe they're like, okay, wait, the New Day's out, so maybe I'll watch a little bit more and try and draw people in rather than playing the Payback video.
I almost felt like it was supposed to happen right there at the very end of the pre-show.
Maybe.
And they just got strapped for time.
Let's
just fucking throw it in the beginning real quick. Nobody will notice.
Timing was a possible issue on this particular pay-per-view.
Yeah, and it happened mostly because of the opening match, which was the #1 contenders match. The Vaudevillains, Simon Gotch and Nathan English versus Enzo and Big Cass. And let's be real here, they were going pretty strong for the opening portion of this match.
Yeah, teams
doing
came
stuff
to play.
that I haven't seen, like Enzo and Gotch doing the knuckle lock into the pinning position and then into like the monkey flip stall to the armbar. Was like a sequence that I've never seen Enzo do. It's bringing the game up for the main roster.
Yeah, it's their first main roster pay-per-view match. They were out to prove a point, and they did a really good job.
Well, if you think about it, this is only like the third match on the main roster for both these teams.
Yeah, right.
Because they came in
fourth for Vaudevillains.
Yeah, it's like they came in and they've only had a few matches apiece, and they're getting thrown onto a pay-per-view card.
Yeah.
That quick.
Yeah.
For a #1 contender spot.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal.
I want to say though, I'm kind of worried for the Vaudevillains because they're still not getting huge reactions when they come out.
Yeah.
They're coming out in front of hardcore crowds.
Yeah. They're really getting thrown to the wolves.
If you can't get a pop from Chicago at a pay-per-view, then I'm worried for what your future holds.
Yeah, the Vaudevillains being called up was just kind of there. Like it wasn't like no one really expected it. People were expecting Enzo and Cass. They weren't expecting like the rest of the NXT guys.
Yeah,
that came
it's just I think that the Vaudevillains gimmick might just not resonate with the main WWE audience because like the NXT crowd is a really smart crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely.
So they get all the gimmicks. They like to play along. They're really smarky about it. I don't mean that in like a negative way. That's what they are.
Yeah,
and it's a bond that's developed because, like, if you talk about specifically at Full Sail, these guys have progressed with the careers of all of these people as soon as they become WWE employees.
Yeah,
right. So when you take a gimmick that's as out there as the Vaudevillains from its home and just throw it to the wider audience of the WWE main roster, it's doesn't necessarily get across as well.
Yeah.
It would be like, taking the Colony out of Chikara.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing that happened at the Ascension.
Yeah.
They got called up and they just kind of...
The Ascension were unfortunately fed really bad promos. That's really what killed them. But yeah, I think their niche, like, hey, this intimate crowd really likes what we do, doesn't work on that bigger scale. And the Vaudevillains just aren't.
They need to be matched with Damien Sandow. That would get them the fuck over.
There you go.
Trios match with the New Day.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Let's do it. Let's do something along those lines.
Or feud with Sandow. Put him like as the face versus their heel. Either way, just put them together.
And come up with somebody else to act smart with Damien Sandow.
Bring Cody Rhodes back.
Yes.
The
Rhodes
mustache.
Scholars versus the Vaudevillains.
I'm all for Rhodes Scholars versus Vaudevillains.
Unfortunately, the match was cut to a very early finish.
Yes.
Because Enzo was getting thrown out of the ring under the bottom rope whiplashed against the middle and bottom rope, ended up hitting his head very hard against the canvas,
Yeah.
and slid out of the ring in an unconscious lump of human.
He was knocked the fuck out.
And you kind of just saw it how, like, initially, like, Simon Gotch was like, okay, I'm getting out of the ring, I'm going to pick up Enzo, and the ref, like, had to put his body in between to stop, and then you see, like, oh, Cass is down, he's checking on Enzo, the New Day have stopped goofing around, and then you see the stretcher come around the ring, and it's just like, you're left in this air of suspense of, like, holy crap, how hurt is Enzo?
Yeah.
They end up calling the match right then and there, they don't continue with Cass versus the Vaudevillains,
which I almost thought they were going to do.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah.
I think that was too much of an issue, too much of a serious situation to be like, oh well, let Cass go in there and just run the match by himself.
And even if they did that, I could see the three of them being so distracted that someone else got hurt.
Yeah.
So we really didn't have a winner. The
Yeah.
match was called. I mean, I can only assume that means the Vaudevillains are just going to be bumped into the number one contender position because...
Which I think it could work, especially if you have, people... If you have people kind of like, oh, well, the Vaudevillains get the spot just because the other team couldn't continue. Like, shouldn't they have to earn it? And you just kind of like force them into that spot. Maybe you get some organic heat that way.
Yeah.
And then you have the New Day just poking fun at the Vaudevillains. Maybe you can kind of build more of a reaction for the Vaudevillains that way.
Yeah. No, I think I know it would piss a lot of fans off because there's a certain group of fans that get really upset when they when they bring in these real injuries into storylines. But I think they really need to let the Vaudevillains just gloat about how they took out Enzo Amore.
I think, and especially with the fact that luckily Enzo only had a concussion.
Yeah.
He got released from the hospital last night. He's fine. He's going to be off TV for a few weeks, as he has to be.
Enzo, he could even be there and be able to cut promos.
Yeah, shit.
Like,
he was in a wheelchair hanging out with Cass. So
yeah, it's just like WWE's hardcore concussion protocol. You know that it's probably going to be at least a month before you see Enzo even back in tag team matches.
Yeah. So, I would say, as long as Enzo is okay with it.
Which I feel like he would be.
Yeah.
All coming from NXT, I think these people all trust each other enough for Enzo to be like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So, I think it would be good for the Vaudevillains to use this particular heat to their advantage, but we'll have to wait and see what they do into Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with the awkward and unfortunate ending of that match, that transported us into the second match on the main card, which in my opinion was match of the night.
I just want to say, Sami Zayn's entrance music was never more needed than right after that.
Yeah. We needed something, and especially like Kevin Owens came out right after this, so it was just like all aggressive, and it was just like, oh man, we're still real dark, and then you get that happy Sami Zayn music come in.
Yeah, Sami Zayn versus Owens, they tore the house
They killed it
down.
so good.
A lot of spots that they haven't done with each other yet. A lot of stuff they didn't even do during their matches against each other in NXT.
Yeah.
And a lot of good close calls, a lot of good false finishes, and
all those Blue Thunder bombs.
Yeah, all of the Blue Thunder bombs.
Fuck you, Mike.
Yeah, like the time he set Kevin Owens up in the corner and was going to run for that running Blue Thunder bomb where he kicks him in the face.
When he did the Blue Thunder bomb through the ropes to into the DDT on the outside.
Yeah, and the time Kevin Owens did the Blue Thunder bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He won the match with the Blue Thunder bomb.
The other thing I really appreciated out of this match is that Kevin Owens won with a pop-up powerbomb, and he only had to hit the move once.
Yeah.
The finishing move
and it was good,
was the finishing move of the match.
Yeah.
I mean, Zayn, he went for it 3 times. Zayn countered twice. He drop-kicked him out of one. He used the rolling prawn hold out of the second one. But it worked.
Yeah,
and the finishing move finished the match. It didn't matter how much animosity, how built up the match was. Zayn couldn't come back from the finisher.
Yeah.
Which is something that doesn't happen in a lot of these high-profile matches where you have guys who are like, oh, we hate each other to death, so we get a kick out of like 18 other of each other's finishers.
Our set is falling apart.
We have to burn the flag now.
But Kevin Owens picking up the win and then forcing Byron to interview him.
Yeah, that was
with the Blue Thunder Bomb. He Blue Thunder.
So Kevin Owens had Byron Blue Thunder Bomb him, and then Kevin Owens announced that he was going to Blue Thunder Bomb
on commentary
during the next match,
which was the Intercontinental title match,
which was The Miz versus Cesaro for the Blue Thunder Bomb.
It was I like this transition that Owen says, okay, I did it. Everyone said I couldn't do it. I beat Sami Zayn. It's done. Now I'm moving on, and I want my Intercontinental title back.
Yeah.
And Byron's like, well, that match is next. Oh, well, thank you, Byron. Thank you for letting me know that match is next. Because, yes, I will sit at commentary and do your job better than you.
Yeah.
And he did. He tore... Byron looked like he was visibly getting upset.
He looked like he was about to lose it.
And, like, into the next few matches, Byron was still very quiet. But, yeah, we had the Intercontinental title match, Cesaro and Miz.
It was good.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. It was...
I think Miz kept up really well.
Yeah. So the one thing that took me out of the match for a second was when Cesaro was going to... When Miz was on the apron, Cesaro goes to the second rope, going to suplex Miz. Maurice grabs his foot.
That was fun.
There's no way that Cesaro couldn't have suplexed both of them.
Yeah.
That was the thing. He was a gentleman. He's like, trust me, if you hold on, you're going to get hurt. So I'm going to stop and give you a chance to back the fuck up. And then they gave a forearm to Miz and then did the suplex anyway.
The one spot that I really enjoyed out of this match was after he ran the Miz like corner to corner about 19 times. With the European uppercuts, he did like 3 rope springs to a drop kick.
Yeah.
And that was just like that was the fastest I've seen somebody run in a WWE ring in a long time.
Yeah, Cesaro was not messing around in this match. And then it got really weird because at commentary, all of a sudden the camera's on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn shoots into frame into Kevin Owens' face. And that's going on, and Miz and Cesaro are like, what the fuck is going on right now? And then they started to fight some more.
Then Sami Zayn and Owens ended up getting up on the apron,
and
Cesaro had to like push them off because he was distracting. Cesaro had Miz in a submission, and he was tapping out.
Yeah.
The referee was distracted with the 2 guys fighting on the apron. Cesaro shoved them down, and that ended up giving the Miz the opportunity to come from behind and get a win.
Yes.
Lame sauce.
Yeah.
But then everybody just kind of started fighting each other because why not?
And we had Kevin Owens standing tall, holding up the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, Kevin Owens won this match, I think.
Yeah. He won 2 matches in a row, and he won commentary,
all
with a Blue Thunder Bomb.
Yeah.
He'd pop up Blue Thunder Bomb to everyone.
Except for the Miz.
Yeah.
Maurice saved the Miz, and they scuffled away, but they left the Intercontinental title.
But he's gonna Blue Thunder Bomb both of them.
Yep.
On Raw.
And win the Blue Thunder Bomb title.
But yeah, there's going to be a Fatal 4 Blue Thunder Bomb, I would assume.
At Extreme Thunder Bombs. Okay.
Extremely Blue
Thunder Bombs.
Have we beaten this like a dead horse yet?
Yeah. Hey, look, my shirt's a Blue Thunder Bomb.
Mine's Lightning, which is next to Thunder. Bomb.
Blue Thunder. Yeah. Moving on.
We had the weird build-up match of Jericho versus Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
That was just kind of...
I think
I
overall
liked
it was a solid match.
Yeah, it didn't have anything that, like... There wasn't anything like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that kind of thing. But... They did a good job. I liked their clash of styles.
There was a lot of good psychology in it. The main thing for me was there was a point where it became very clear that the match was supposed to end and they were given more time and they were just improvising from that point on.
Yeah.
That's what it really looked like.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, I just feel like they didn't have very good chemistry, specifically during certain points of the match. And I wasn't invested in this match because the build-up was just sort of...
Plus it was coming off the heels of, the whole Intercontinental title thing.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff happening, and then this one was just...
Yeah, and it felt like, it was also weird because, like, the last pay-per-view, where they had their matches against Lesnar and Styles,
Yeah.
where everyone basically thought the exact opposite outcomes were going to come of those two matches.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like, okay, well, we have nothing left to do with these guys because we sort of like maybe flopped with them at WrestleMania, and now maybe we just put them together and see if it sticks.
Yeah, and the end was interesting. The struggle for the dirty deeds was interesting.
Yeah.
And the commentary didn't help it because they kept trying to hit the fact that Ambrose wasn't going to hit the dirty deeds until he clasped the hands.
Yeah.
And
Which
when
he never does, anyways.
He does occasionally, but this particular time it was like, oh, he can't get the hands together. He can't hit it, but then he hits it anyway and doesn't clasp the hands, and it's like, oh, he did it. It was like, but you were calling something that he didn't fucking do.
It's never been an issue.
Yeah.
It's just as long as he can hook the arms, but yeah,
that's why it's called a double underhook DDT and not a double underclasp DDT.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and then we had Jericho throw a tantrum,
Guys,
and
the Dirty Deeds, it used to be the headlock driver.
Mhm.
He should call this one the Dirty Deeds 2.
Yeah.
Because it's a DDT.
I get it. It works on multiple levels.
I like it.
Sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jericho had his little tantrum, and I was really hoping that Kevin Owens was going to come out and start helping him.
Shoving stuff over.
Because he did the thing where he tried to kick the top stairs off, and they just kind of went up and then fell back down.
Yeah, and then he grabbed the papers off of one of the tables.
Spanish announce table.
He tried to grab a flag and the camera cut away really fast.
Yeah, he's right on that corner where the ramp is. Yeah, I saw that.
So, yeah, I don't know where that's going to go, if it goes anywhere.
We'll see. We'll have to wait till Raw.
How about the women's championship match?
This match was good to a point.
Yeah, again, I felt like they didn't have nearly as good chemistry as they did a few weeks ago when they went against each other on Raw.
They didn't feel very prepared.
Yeah.
The
theory that I'm working on here is that the Enzo injury happened, so they had to cut that short, so they had to make up for time in the next few matches. But then I think they may have made up too much time, and they were like, okay, Natty, Charlotte, you're getting cut down to this much time, and so that they had to kind of rush through their stuff.
Yeah. They had a lot of good things that they were trying to do, but yeah, I don't know if one of them was ahead of the other one or something, but every time they tried to do something, if they had hit it, it would have looked cool, but the way that it just kind of fell together was really messy.
Yeah, and they had a couple of flub ups because you had the moment where Natty was getting in the ring, and then Charlotte ran up and kicked the middle rope, even though Natty was going underneath it. Not sure what would be accomplished there.
Well, the cable would snap back and hit Natty in the back.
That's what I came up with, but it's not enough for Natty to be like, oh no, I'm messed up.
No, because she was hoping it would hit Natty in the back of the head because she saw what happened to Enzo. She's like, got it.
That's fucked up, Charlotte.
Also, I really feel like they were trying to really hammer home the fact that Bret Hart being there was going to,
he didn't do anything.
Yeah, it's nothing actually ended up happening.
He yelled at Ric Flair once. And that was it.
No one really got involved. So,
not even Ric Flair.
Having a guy on the outside for both women was the big hype point around this match.
Yeah.
We're going to have Bret Hart and Ric Flair. They're going to cancel each other out kind of thing.
Well,
but really all it did was...
If you look at it from the they canceled each other out standpoint, that's why they didn't do anything.
It's Bret Hart's presence of being there just made Ric Flair start to slowly die.
I was actually really sad when Bret came out, though, because he looks older than Flair at this point.
Yeah.
After everything Bret's been through.
Yeah, no, if you would have asked me 20 years ago if Ric Flair looks more mobile than Bret Hart this year, I would have said no chance in hell. Yeah. But,
if you could ask me 20 years ago if Bret Hart and Ric Flair, who was going to be more mobile in 2016, I would be like, what the fuck's 2016? That's the future. What are you talking about?
At 8, almost 9 years old, I didn't know who Ric Flair or Bret Hart was. So...
Yeah.
Yeah, where did this match go, Kevin Hawk?
To bad places.
Real bad places.
Yeah.
I mean...
Booked a ticket to Montreal.
I mean, we had...
Is Montreal close to Chicago?
It's Canada's.
I mean, I know Chicago is close to Canada, but is it close to Montreal?
You didn't know the Montreal Screwjob happened in Montreal, Chicago.
Montreal suburb of Chicago. No, I mean we had a screwy finish not that long ago with the Taker Lesnar match.
Yeah.
They rehashed the Screwjob finish with Taker Punk at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
They've done it multiple times. They did it once with Shane McMahon and Shawn Michaels.
Just let it go away.
Yeah,
and now they do it again.
Like, shouldn't the end of this whole Montreal Screwjob thing been when we had Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels reconcile?
Yeah.
On Raw? Like, that should have been done. Forget the Montreal Screwjob unless you're talking about, like, big moments in wrestling. Fuck it. Don't do it again.
Also, I don't know if they even told Bret, because he looked legitimately pissed.
I was too pissed at what they did to really make note of anything other than the fact that after they screwed Natty, your call for the double sharpshooter happened.
Yeah.
That was it.
And that's what bugged me also. Like, if that's their way to get to the double sharpshooter, you could have literally got there any other way.
Yeah. No, it's completely unnecessary.
And then I felt like it did lose a moment of organicness, because, like, the whole thing, if you remember, like, the Montreal Screwjob, it happens and then everybody ran away.
Yeah.
Where this was, like, it happened, and, like, Charles Robinson, like, ran, grabbed the belt, got the hell out of Dodge, but then, like, Ric Flair and Charlotte stayed to celebrate.
Yeah. It loses some of the illusion as to, everyone's in cahoots, get the fuck away.
Fucking how they should have done it if they were going to do the Screwjob is, fucking Bret should have been standing on the ramp side.
Yeah.
And so that Flair and Charlotte could have tried to run, and
then they stop them, they get back in the ring. Yeah, that would have been better. But no, the ending sucked.
It wouldn't have fixed the fact that it's a screw job, and that was dumb.
Yeah,
but it would have
no fixing that.
It would have made that part work better.
Yeah, it really, like, the part of it, like, besides the fact that it was a decent match that got ended in a crappy finish, and, like, Charlotte and Natty worked too hard to deserve that sort of an ending, and the Screwjob ending is so overdone, and it's just something from, 19 years ago.
Yeah.
That doesn't need to be rehashed. Well, the other thing that really bugs me about it is the fact that we've spent, like, the last month now gloating over the fact that the Divas division is now the women's division, and everything is about, how good the women's division is. And the first pay-per-view after the belt gets changed to the women's championship in a big ceremony after WrestleMania, you give the one women's match a shitty ending.
Yeah. And at the same time, it's Natty's first big run since initially coming to WWE.
Yeah,
like,
and like there was no. I mean, sure, they can build off of this somehow. They will.
I think we're all in agreement that if they go the Charles Robinson route, and
it would make a little bit of sense at least. Yeah,
they can kind of fix it.
But what I'm getting at is there's no reason for a screw job to happen. Like, storyline-wise, it doesn't advance either person. There was no indication that either of them were going, like, if they had worked in the storyline that, like, Natty was planning on leaving, like, retiring after she won the women's title or whatever, and the company's like, well, no, we still need Natty, it would still have been stupid, but my point is there was no, like, why the fuck did they need to screw Natty over?
Like, for me, I think if they would have put more pressure on Charlotte and Ric Flair going, if Charlotte kind of had that break moment where she's like, oh no, like if there was a segment where she was like, Dad, if you can't get involved, how am I going to keep this championship? And he goes, don't worry, I'll figure something out. Then it would make us think, okay, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And then you have that connection between Ric Flair and Charles Robinson from back in WCW, their connection in personal life and everything. It would have softened the blow. It wouldn't make it better, but it would soften the blow.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this leads into a stipulation match, preferably a women's cage match, where no one can get involved, and it's not the referee's discretion. It's whoever escapes the cage first.
The women's... No, I'm not going to make that joke because you guys make it bad.
Uh-oh.
Let's just move on.
So yeah, that's our rant for the day.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel like there's a single person around that wasn't rubbed the wrong way by that finish.
Yeah.
We had McMahon come out. We had a fucking way too long of a segment with Stephanie getting like 10 minutes, Shane get 10 minutes. They fucking, just to announce that they're both in charge of Raw.
Yeah, and in just the most lackluster way, where Vince is just like, I want you guys to fight, so you're both in charge.
Yeah.
But Vince,
They
that's
didn't even
stupid.
drum roll.
Yeah.
It's just, that's very stupid from a... If we go with the fact that at this point Vince is not the evil Vince McMahon, and he's just the businessman who's trying to shape his company, you know, this is a very stupid way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just be like, I want you guys to fight all the time and clash over all the decisions you make.
I think the wanting them to fight is, hey, if this person thinks they can make it better and this person thinks they can make it better, make them both try to outdo each other.
Yeah, but
to continuously make things better.
Yeah, but that's not how he said it. He was just like,
no,
I want there to be blood.
That's because Vince McMahon can't really cut a promo anymore.
That's
just
fine.
It always just sounds awkward when he talks now. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that Vince McMahon presence anymore.
Yeah, he has that old McMahon presence.
Yeah. So they both run Raw now.
Yeah,
and apparently also pay-per-views.
He should have given them a fucking time limit. Been like, you'll both run Raw until SummerSlam, and whoever does the better job, you're in charge.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if they.
We'll
see if they shape it more on Raw with the first Stephanie and Shane running together.
Yeah.
There's a handful of things that could be slightly rectified depending on what happens on Raw.
Yes.
Now we have.
Oh, there might be a Survivor Series match down the line for Control.
Shane versus Stephanie.
Yeah,
we'll
talk
talk about that in November.
Then we have the main event.
Yes.
AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns.
This match was fantastic.
I enjoyed this match.
I had to stop myself from saying phenomenal because that's where I was going.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to.
They took a while to get into it,
which I was okay with. I liked the fact that we haven't got these two, in the ring one-on-one situation. So I appreciated both of them kind of going, okay, this is how this guy works. Okay, this is how this guy works. I liked the build. It got to a point where I was like, okay, what are they gonna do? And then it was at that point that was when everything picked up.
The couple of issues I had with this match is I thought it exposed a couple of flaws in Roman's game, which we all know, but we're all aware of the flaws in Roman's game, but this match kind of highlighted them.
Yeah.
AJ wrestled circles around him fucking 90% of this match.
Yes.
And it was very clear at points that Roman was running out of breath. He was getting winded.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he didn't quite know how to take the one, I guess it was a Japanese arm drag that AJ threw.
It was a different style of a lucha arm drag.
Yeah, Roman didn't know what he was doing there.
Speaking of fucking Roman not knowing how to take stuff, I was genuinely scared when AJ set up for the Styles Clash.
Yeah, that was... Roman was just waving his arms get me down!
It's because he broke out of it, and that's... But it's the fact that his head was almost touching the mat, in the move, I was like, oh shit.
Well, it's one of those things that it comes down to the point where I noted that so many of the wrestlers in WWE are way bigger than the guys AJ Styles is used to facing.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns picked up, barely off the mat. Roman Reigns, AJ couldn't get his legs, physically over Roman's arm.
Yeah.
It's almost to the point where he'd have to get Roman Reigns' face on the ground, almost like an old school, lion tamer, in order just to get the legs over the arms, which would make the move seem completely, not cool.
Yeah.
But, the match went for a while, and then it ends in a count-out.
Yeah, so they did the
that whole sequence was a roller coaster of emotion for me though.
Yeah, no,
Because
us along with who was watching, we're all like, no way.
It was the coolest spot of the night. Fucking springboard forearm to the outside
through the table,
and then it was a count out.
And it was because of the fact that the women's championship match had a shitty ending. And then you had like a 30-minute promo in between. This was not a good time to have a count-out ending.
It's also just, I wouldn't put it past WWE to do that, to like give AJ the win, but Roman's still the champion.
And for me, it was the thinking of why did AJ just roll into the ring and not roll back out?
The one, I think they needed to play it a little bit closer, but then they would have risked counting them both out, which still could have worked for what happened next. Yeah, actually, that would have been better.
That would have been better.
But AJ, I think it was just like supposed to be AJ rolls in and doesn't have time to roll back out.
Okay. Yeah, the timing of that could have been screwed. But yeah, then just do double count out.
Yeah. Then Shane comes out and restarts the match. There's no count out.
Yeah, which is awesome.
And then that ends with Roman Reigns dick punching AJ Styles.
Yeah, AJ went for another springboard and got punched right in the dick.
Superman punched in the dick.
Penis punch.
Yeah, and like it took a second. Like at first, I thought he just got him in the stomach.
In the phallus.
There we go. I thought he got him in the stomach, and then like the ref kind of looked over, and AJ was rolling over, and then I was like, okay, no, he got him. Ref calls the disqualification.
Jabbed in the jump.
Like, please don't make this another thing. Stephanie comes out and says...
At that point, I knew Stephanie had to come out because Vince like, oh, you're both in charge.
Yeah.
Shane did the thing. I was like, okay, Steph gets to come out and one up her brother.
And so Stephanie comes out and says, well, there's something Shane missed, so now restart the match with no disqualification. This was a great time to have Bullet Club come out.
Another call in this that bothered me
God.
was when AJ locks in the calf crusher.
And he called it the Blue Thunder Bomb.
Yeah. No, he locks in the calf...
I thought you were serious for a second. I was like, did I miss that?
He locks in the calf crusher, and it's fully cinched in. But Roman, like, powers to the ropes, and Cole's like, he didn't get the calf crusher all the way, so Roman was able to break out. It's like, no! You're fucking selling this terribly.
Yeah, Roman is twice as big as Styles. That's how he got to the ropes.
Yeah, and I didn't like the way Roman Reigns went about getting to the ropes, where he was grabbing, he was within arm's reach of the ropes directly in front of him, but decided in order to drag it out longer to turn them a complete 90 degrees.
Yeah.
So then he had to crawl more.
You get that a lot with submissions, though. So I'm gonna.
I think that's a different.
That didn't bother me that.
That's just a WWE thing where it's like, we want the best shot at this possible, so like you have to turn where the camera is.
Right.
I think that's what that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no disqualification was made, and then
Bullet Club interferes.
Yeah. Gallows and
Usos also interfere.
Which set up a really cool bit where like AJ went up for the 450.
At this point, every single time AJ goes to top ropes, because I know the end's in sight, I'm like, no, AJ, fucking don't.
Yeah. So he goes up for the 450. Roman pops up and dumps him out onto Bullet Club and the Usos. And then Roman's like, ooh, now there's 5 guys out there. And so he does his big Superman dive.
And it looked like they just all lined up like dominoes.
Except for AJ, who jumped into the crowd.
Yeah,
he
was like laying on the guardrail like, how did I get here?
We did forget, though, one of the best parts of this match, I think, is during Roman's entrance when he hits his pose. We see the big sign.
Oh, the soft?
Yeah, right behind him.
Yeah, he took the place of the A. S Roman WFT. Stroganoff.
But yeah, so at this point, this match for me is just a fucking roller coaster.
Yeah, it's wondering how it's gonna end, where what direction are they taking with it, and it was very much it was a nail biter at the end.
It ended up being what it had to be, which is Roman counters AJ.
Yeah,
and gets him with a spear.
Yeah, it ducks the forearm, hits the big spear, picks up the win.
I mean, I definitely think it would have been more impactful if Roman speared him out of the air.
Yeah.
When he went for the forearm. But I mean, it still got from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And it still did the trick, and it was the first time in the match Roman hits the spear clean, and the finishing move finishes the match.
The one thing I have seen, the one sentiment I have seen, because I know a lot of people are pissed that one spear into the match, which I don't agree with, but the one sentiment I did see that I kind of agree with is Roman should have hit a spear on the outside, just for a really cool spot. After the no countout was made, hits the spear on the outside, can't quite get AJ back in.
And maybe that could have set up for the forearm that ended up in the dick punch. That could have worked. But I think overall,
that's neither here nor there. That's just like, hey, that would have made the match kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it still ended good. It ended well for everyone. And then we did have Stephanie and Shane both, kind of fighting to make the rematch at Extreme Rules an Extreme Rules match.
Yeah.
So now we have the no countouts, no disqualifications already implied, and what are we going to build for the next month or so between AJ, Gallows, and Anderson?
Well, it's only 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, 3 weeks. Month-ish.
So it's not going to be a lot of time to build.
So we're... That's potentially going to be a Finn Balor debut, maybe.
I think the fact that he didn't show up at Payback...
I'm still holding out that he's not going to show up until after the next takeover, which is in July.
Could be. Who knows?
Maybe. So that's it for our Payback review. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Click all the links down in the description. Check out all the videos up in the playlist. There's going to be more this week. Episode 99, we got Thomas's Springtime Top 10.
Yeah.
Because we missed
probably
a couple of months.
One time only. But
yeah. So be sure to check that out. All of our regular reviews up there on that playlist. And look out for our second channel coming sometime next week. So look forward to that. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
The one where I say, fuck the Miz at the end.
You do that all the time.
Oh.
No, sometimes he says, fuck Sheamus.
Yeah, sometimes you're the one that says, fuck the Miz.
Fuck Michael Cole with a blue thunder bomb.